Donovan, what's up?
Hey, Ben. Good to see you.
Good to see you. How's it going?
Well, good. I guess you were probably stalling on your end, waiting for me to join, and I was on my end, and people were wondering, and so I held down the fort for 10 minutes on my side, and it's my first time to do this jointly, actually, surprisingly.
Oh
So I
yeah,
don't know what to do.
so I go live and then you come on to my live and then I bring you on.
I figured that out now. Now I
Yeah.
know. So something really
Okay, yeah.
wonderful came out of this. I learned something new. I just went on and I thought I'd get a
Yeah.
request from you. So, but anyway, we had a good time for 10 minutes.
Oh, well, I didn't see you join at all until just now after I already told everyone you weren't coming on. Anyway,
Surprise!
guys, everyone, this is Donovan McGrath. Donovan, you and I met for the first time at Jeff Krasno's house, the
Yes, we
owner of
did.
Wanderlust. Yeah, we were over there. We were helping create the, what was it called? Teaching the Teachers program by Marianne Williamson.
That's right. And we sat right next to each other in that video and we got to know each other. And your reputation had preceded you. I'd heard good things about you.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I didn't know anyone knew anyone there that day, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's a small community. Community. And so everyone, Donovan is the creator of Amplified Yoga, and he's a great meditation instructor, yoga instructor, and you have so much energy. You have like, you're Amplified is like the perfect thing for you because it's like you're super high energy and you bring a ton of energy to everything that you do.
Thank
And
you.
and so you actually opened Wanderlust festivals. You're on Wanderlust TV now.
Yes.
You're totally raising the vibe. You're totally bringing that amplified energy like all over the place. How are you handling, how are you navigating the pandemic and the quarantine, and how are you cultivating mental wellness?
Well, I'm handling it really well. I'm a silver lining kind of guy. And that is something that I teach. If you're not born that way naturally, I mean, I think people have a disposition. They come into this world with a certain, sense, but that certain things can be cultivated. So I always teach about our ability to direct our energy and our mentality where we want it to be. And I'm not saying that's always easy, but I tend to shift mine towards positivity. And so right away, it just was a quick new reality we had to face so quickly. It was shocking. And so I was so grateful that I had these years of practice behind me because I lean on them to keep me sustained. And, definitely there are times in this uncertainty that it's even scary and I can feel the negativity in my mind and, fear and all those things are justifiable and valid. But I continually keep myself up physically and mentally. I practice consistently. And for me personally, it just created a lot of opportunity. It forced me into something that was percolating already, but I was resisting, which was coming online and doing things virtually. And
Totally, me too. I relate to that
yeah,
so much. Yeah.
and I'm sure, I wonder if you've had the same, response to it. It was shocking to me that first of all, you could have that connectivity. I'm used to being with a lot of people in a room and you feel that vibration and its connection and it's powerful, it's potent. And, I didn't know if it would translate through technology. And I really found that it does. And there are people all over the world amplifying with me simultaneously. And it's so beautiful and I feel it. I'm so grateful for that because if I wasn't able to have that connection and do what I love doing, then it would be a totally different situation. I'm sure, I'd find a way through. My teacher says, wherever there's a block, there's a way through, but it just is a little easier for me because I had this opportunity. So I'm just loving it and I'm riding with it.
Totally. Yeah, I relate to that a lot too. My work is kind of like the opposite. It's kind of like it's really stillness focused.
Yeah.
And so, but it's just sort of like another approach to the higher vibration experience.
Yes.
And I also felt like, I was like, are people just going to fall asleep? Am I going to be able to do anything online? And I'm a little more grassroots. I'm a little bit more in person. I don't like a lot of hype. I don't like a lot of technology. And so I relate to that a lot where I was actually really, really resistant. And even when Unplug went online, I was like, no, thanks. And Susie called me and was like, hey, Ben, you're doing this. It's super easy. Don't be scared of it. And I was like, I'm not scared of it. I just don't want to do it. And she was like, I need you, do it. Okay. Try it, and then check in with me. And I'm
Isn't that
so,
wonderful to have people that are so encouraging?
totally,
She put
yeah,
a hand out to you and said, no, pulled you in. And then it was kind of the same for me, and I was like, just like, offers, and people were saying, come onto this platform. And then like Susie did for you and for me as well, we're both on Unplug, just pulled us right in
yeah.
and showed us. And then it was like, oh, this can actually happen, and you can really make a connection.
Totally. Yeah, it's huge. It's a really, really important awakening and realization of like how we can really apply this technology and really like work with it and live in it. My friend Arizu just came to join us. Hi, Arizu. Do you know Donovan? Do you guys know each other?
We know each
Arizu?
other. She's an
Oh yeah,
amplifier. Oh, she's an
she's
amplifier.
an
I mean, she
amplifier.
amplifies. She's an amplifier.
She's totally an amplifier. She's a total like vibration raiser for sure.
Yeah,
100%.
she is. She's wonderful. Fellow
She
teacher.
totally,
Colleague.
totally is. So yeah, I think I've known Arizu for like 10 years.
Yeah,
So
she's wonderful. Oh, she loves us both. Look at that.
oh, that's so sweet.
And she's
Okay,
out
so
there.
Donovan, we
Well, hey,
met.
good.
Wahe Guru, yeah. So we met and in that course teaching the teachers,
Yeah.
and so I think that was a really interesting context. The context that I really see for that is that what I really saw of those of us who were in that group. Hi, Angelica. Yes, this live will be available after. Okay, so
Enjoy your dinner.
yeah, enjoy your dinner. So that group that we were in, it was really a group of people who stepped into leadership. I think in really organic ways.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's teacher trainings and school and stuff that you go to become like credible in different things and to know your stuff. But the common denominator with everyone in that room and everyone on that course was really that we all sort of like came into it through our own paths and our own journeys. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about your process. You said that you were a silver linings kind of guy, and I like to think that I am too, for the most part,
Yeah.
but I wanted to just see, have you always been that way, or did you learn it?
Well, to be honest, and I think I did come into this earth, like I said, certain people have a certain disposition, and of course you can cultivate other energies and send your energy in a new direction and create a new reality. I believe that. And for some people it might be a little more challenging, but I'll be honest, I think I came into the world like that. My mother said, I had this yellow room when I was a kid, and every morning I was up at the edge of the crib and I was just like bouncing and smiling and like ready to go. You know what I mean? One thing that did make me cry and upset was when I wasn't getting attention. When I was a kid. But definitely I've had my fair share of challenges. I moved out of my home when I was 15. My adolescent years were really intense, and certainly I had visions of suicide and things like that. There were dark moments, but there was never anything. I was always able to pull myself out of that. I had that ability. I was just able to just go into a moment of grief or sadness or whatever it was, and then I would just be able to turn the perception around and find the silver lining. And that has just been an ability that came naturally, but certainly through the years of practice, I've cultivated. And after years of doing it, I'd like to think, there's a mastery to it. I can recognize it instantly when something's affecting me in a certain way that doesn't feel right for me. It's not the way that I want to be. And sometimes, if it's down, if there's sadness or depression or something like that, then I'll sit with it. I'll be with it. I'll accept it and allow it. I'm not trying to run from it. But then usually, I'll be there for a little bit and I'll just do what I need to do to start, shifting my perception. And I think it's important to go into that darkness and sadness sometimes. It can give you a revelation or an inspiration, So I definitely cultivate it. I've been practicing yoga and meditation since I was about 18, 19 years old. Did my first teacher training then. And so I just really had the tools, early on, luckily. To continually move myself in the direction of being as happy and healthy as I can be. That's what I like to share.
Okay, so and what kind of yoga do you teach and practice?
So it's so many and it's so dynamic, and I this can always sound so cheesy, but I mean yoga is every moment of life really. So it's in what I'm consuming and what I'm saying, what I'm reading, how I'm living. Working with energy specifically, so that, that's kundalini, but it's all yoga. So it's just all different approaches of working with the energy. My first teacher training was in the Shivananda tradition. I've been to Jivamukti. I was really big in the Anusara community. I've done an Ashtanga yoga teacher training, kundalini teacher training. My main teacher is Guru Singh here in Los Angeles, who's 75, level 75 in terms of age. And he's just a badass. And he was like the right-hand man of Yogi Bhajan. And he, in the good ways, in the positive ways, I believe that. And he's just an inspiration. So many traditions. And so that affects the way that I practice. There's so many different modalities. It's all to move to the same sort of space of being equanimous, balanced, and harmonious on all levels, including mentality. And then I created Amplified Yoga, which is just something quite unique and different and powerful in its ability for transformation instantly. And I really draw upon the lineage of Kundalini. And it's through my perception.
I love Kundalini. I love it. It's like,
you love it.
That's the one. I'm a yoga instructor also. I never teach yoga though. I'm more of like a stillness practice person. But the one teacher training I did was Kundalini.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So I love it. It's a huge part of my personal practice. For whatever reason, it doesn't quite translate into my Dharma, but it's definitely like such a cool thing, and I love it. I love the mudra. I love the breath work. And that's something that I always love that Arizu brings, is that she's a wonderful Kundalini instructor. It's just like really, really good stuff. Okay, so talk to me a little bit about where we can find you right now, like during all of this. Like, where can we find you, and what are you offering? What's up? Because I know you're doing lots of wonderful things right now.
Yes, it's super exciting. And like I said, these opportunities have just presented themselves. And it's crazy that it came in this way, because I had a vision of how I thought it was going to be, and it's coming to me in a different way. And, so I'm teaching virtually. I do Amplified Yoga every Sunday. I have 3 classes a week on a platform called Live Kick. The link is in my bio. And then this Friday, a lot of people out there that know me, one of the things I do with the Kundalini tradition is I link it to house music, tribal music, live DJ, this kind of thing that is so impactful on people already, that is elevating people and gives people a sensation of connection and ecstasy, But then when you add the Kundalini, the mantra, the movement, and all this is going on, it's amazing. It's such an intense, wonderful feeling. And like I said, the transformation can happen instantly. People just make a quick switch, or something just changes in their mind or their mentality, because I'm linking the imagination and the physicalization, and it's the vibration of the music. And so the vision was to link with other DJs and do it like almost an arena type settings, like Above and Beyond, Anjuna, who I didn't even know who that was before, but so many synchronicities led me to meet them. And so this Friday I'm doing, Amplified Yoga on their channel. And I don't know if you know Above and Beyond and Anjuna, but I mean, it's global community. They raise the vibration positively. And so I'm doing that with them. So lots of really cool, and just, I can't talk about it quite yet, but there's other collaborations that are happening with major music artists,
Great.
DJs with a wonderful following. So we're linking the music to the yoga, and it's just kind of, the momentum is amazing, and it's kind of exploding. So keep watching, because it's happening. It's really, really beautiful. And like I said, it's just incredible that energy can be felt collectively when we're amplifying through the screen on Sundays. And there's people all over the world doing it simultaneously. And it's just wonderful. And people are feeling it. They're having the experience of it. So you can find me weekly. I'm teaching all week virtually somewhere. Link in bio.
Are you teaching at Unplug meditation also?
I am.
Yeah, when is that?
So I teach, we call it Amplified Chill there. And just a bit to piggyback on your stillness practice, I mean, I love that too, and I think the amplification can also come in the stillness. It's more subtle energy that you're dealing with, right? So, if you're doing big things that are physical, it has a big energetic reaction. And so I like to get people to that space and then bring it down to the subtle. And so, so the Amplified Chill, we do that. And it's just, all you have to do is sit there and receive it. You don't have to be moving or anything. And so that is Wednesday night. I do one for good sleep, which of course has so much to do with mental health and vitality generally. And then Thursday morning at 10:30. So it's kind of a nice little piggyback. At night, you go to sleep, You get a good rest, you wake up rejuvenated, and then you move into the day with inspiration.
Yeah, that's great. You know, that's a really, really good thing. You know, they say anytime that you're really wanting to rewire your habitual behavioral patterns, or set any intentions, that before bed and first thing in the morning is a really, those are both really crucial times. And of course, the meditation traditions and spiritual traditions, you know, even Christianity, there's an emphasis on morning and evening.
Yeah.
And so I think that's really fun, that you have that like little twofer.
Yeah.
And what a great opportunity, you know, someone can, you know, you can really, you know, anyone could really, really take the most out of these moments right now and make it a retreat for themselves. You know, I don't want to bypass over the reality that a lot of people are in major distress. A lot of people are losing their jobs. They've already lost their jobs. They're concerned financially. There's a lot of really big challenges, you know, but in the midst of all of that, there is some silver lining work that can be done. And I agree with what you said at the very beginning, where the practices that we've developed and cultivated, for me, the present moment practice was huge. I adapted really quickly. Also, I was like, oh, there's no churches anymore on Sunday. I'll do Sunday church service.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, and it was like I didn't miss a beat. It was like, okay, there's no church this Sunday. I'll do a church this Sunday, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I do attribute my my yoga and meditation practice to my ability to adapt quickly, you know?
I think it gives you an access to creative solutions more easily. There's a
Yeah.
little bit more fluidity. And so the thing that you're presented with, you just make the adjustment. And,
Yeah.
you know, and listen to what you're saying. Of course, people are struggling in a major way, and it's terrifying. And it could hit you or me tomorrow. We're living with that reality. You could get sick. I could get sick. The people we love could get sick. We don't know what's true, what's not true. You know, one of the things that Yogi Bhajan said about this time was that truth would be something that you could convince somebody of. That would become truth. And so we really have to like decipher, you know, what is true and what's not, and maintain our sanity. And so, yes, people are struggling, and maybe one of the silver linings that will come of this, and I believe it's happening, is people will look to things like meditation, because they're going to feel, you know, oftentimes people come to it because they're suffering. It's not like people are generally feeling like, everything's great, I'm going to learn meditation. And I mean, of course it can happen, but it's usually in a moment of shifting, of struggling. It's like, oh, I need to do something that's going to be helpful to alleviate these symptoms of anxiety and depression and fear, and which are valid and they're real, but you don't want to live in that, you know? And so and I know that is not always easy, but I do believe in the face of adversity, there's always an opportunity. There's always an opportunity. There's always a new direction. And, you know, the things that we do in Kundalini is connect to certain frequencies with the imagination and vibration of mantra to magnetize future realities. I really believe that can happen. When you're imagining yourself happy and healthy as you can be with the vibration and the mantra, you are magnetizing that possibility, and you're having a chemical reaction in the body. And, you know, and I'm not saying that's going to happen instantly, although it has happened for people, but you can at least take a step in that direction, you know? So everyone that's struggling, you know, of course, my heart goes out to them. And one of the things we also learn in the tradition is just that there's a bigger cosmic picture happening. And, you know, one of the meditations is about magnificent grace and finding neutrality in the polarities and the uncertainty and all of that, and finding neutrality within it, because there's a bigger cosmic picture happening. And I believe that meditation takes you out into that sense of expansion, and the yoga practice does, so you can just handle the polarities and the uncertainty a little more easily. I think that's what this technology does for us, you know?
Yeah, you attune yourself to a little bit more of the subtleties of like the different dynamics of what's taking place, you know? And by being super present, you relate to those dynamics within the context of your own life, and that which you actually have control or power over, you know.
Yes.
I love what Arizu just said. She said, Yogi Bhajan said, keep up and you will be kept up. Yeah, and that's a really good reminder for practice. You know, not everyone has any kind of like yoga or wellness practice, but I always recommend some kind of practice, you know, doing something and keeping up with it, you know, trying to keep up with it. And I'm not perfect at it. No way, man.
I heard that about you. Just kidding.
That I'm not perfect about it?
Yeah, no, I'm kidding.
I'm actually pretty perfect at it.
I know, you're so close.
Pretty close.
Pretty good. Me too.
Yeah, no, I am consistent, but I also really like flexibility. So I allow myself a lot of flexibility within the context of continuing with practice and staying as balanced as I can.
Yeah.
Um, and and yeah, I love that idea. Keep up and you'll be kept up. That's a good one. Thanks, Arzu.
Yeah.
Uh,
And I love that idea of flexibility. And I think that comes with continued practice. And then you develop a sensitivity to what's necessary in the moment. So there's fluidity in the practice. And some days, like, man, you might need to bring up the energy and just like get yourself pumped up and get a sweat on. And, you know, it's a practice that's very physical. And sometimes it needs to be the exact opposite. And so I love that there's a flexibility. I believe it comes from a sensitivity. You listen, you become more tuned to the body, to the moment, and then it's just happening, you know? And I think that
right.
something comes when you're practicing regularly. You just flow right into it.
Yeah, and I think for me, first of all, that's totally true. Like when you practice regularly, the you sort of get a grace. Just like if you're like a really, really fit person, you have really well developed muscles and stuff like that. There's more flexibility for a really, really fit person in what they eat and what they do, you know, because there's this baseline of consistency. So I am a really consistent practitioner, but there is, like for me, I'm writing a book right now. I have a book coming out. I have 3 books coming out, and I'm like marketing one, editing one, and writing one.
Amazing, man.
It's a lot, you know,
Yeah.
and to be doing all of that, I kind of, if I'm off my practice, the anxiety demons, you know, they're all over the place, you know. And,
You feel
and
the
when you're,
difference right away.
what was that?
I just said you feel the difference right away. I mean, yeah, as soon as
Oh,
it's lacking,
definitely.
as soon as it's not there, it's like everything is, it's a little more sticky. It's just not as easy, right?
Right.
And I believe in creativity as well. The flow of creativity and that ease of creation is amplified when you're practicing regularly. So you feel it if you're a consistent practitioner, and then all of a sudden something goes amiss and you're not doing it, which happens.
Totally.
You know,
Yeah. And
feel
thank you
it.
for the love, Arizu and Maru. But yeah, in the world of meditation, we get a lot of people asking questions like, how long should we meditate? You know, so many people are very familiar with transcendental meditation, where you use one mantra every day for the rest of your life, and you meditate twice a day for 20 minutes a day. Someone recently told me that now they teach that you can do it for 10 minutes a day. I don't know. I haven't done it in a long time, but the thing for me is when you really get into it, and I want to get your thoughts on this too. It's so less about the number of minutes that you do it,
Yeah.
and more about the depth and the quality of the practice when you do it.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's what happens, and when you've been doing it for a long time, and it will happen to people at different, you know, times, obviously. But I do think that if you're practicing regularly, you can slip right into it. I mean, it can almost happen in a moment where you know, you just sit down, close your eyes, take a breath in, take a breath out, and you're already kind of like connected.
Exactly. You know, you can really, really drop in. Like I was just telling one of my students recently, we were talking about my book, and I said, look, I have to meditate. And then I meditated. I was like, I'll call you back. I'll call you back. And I got off the phone and I meditated. And I didn't pay attention at all to the time. If I don't have something to do, I'm not looking at the time. If I don't have something coming up, I'm not paying attention to the time. And I call her back and she was like, it's been 3 minutes. I was like, oh, I got what I needed.
Yeah, exactly. Quick. It doesn't have to be any big thing, you know?
But I
mean,
will also say I have a general habit of about 40 minutes on average, you know, like twice a day. So it's not that, so I don't want to like give people the wrong idea that I like do these like sporadic 3-minute meditations. But sometimes that's really all you really need.
To that tranquility pretty quickly, right? Like if you need an inspiration or a rejuvenation, like you're working, you know, you're talking to your friend about the book and you felt that impulse, I need to meditate. So maybe it was just 2 minutes, you know, you to drop in and maybe it just refreshed you or inspired you. Thing that you needed to reconnect with her, you know? So it can happen really quickly. But those 40-minute meditations are pretty necessary too, I think. It's that building of it that allows you to just drop right into it pretty quickly, I think.
Right, right. And I always use, I love the gym analogies. I know they're so cliche and everyone uses the same gym analogies, but you know, it's like this reality that when you're working out at the gym, and you go home, you don't have to say, all right, I have to strengthen myself in order to move the couch. You've just been working out for a while. You're stronger. You can move the couch.
Yeah.
Moving the couch is a little bit easier because you've been working out, you know?
Yeah.
You know, it's just the same in meditation, you know, because I've been practicing, certain things are just like a little easier to navigate. My attachment, I have like no attachment to outcomes. I'm totally in like a, oh, that didn't work out. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes people are like, are you mad? And I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I just thought we weren't doing that anymore. Okay. Oh no, you want to? Okay, cool. Great. You know,
Well,
and
I'm
and
sure
that's
you're
what,
aware that's a yogic practice that comes from
totally.
reality. It's a non-attachment, non-greed, a parigraha, you know. Just if it dissolves, you know, if you're clinging to it, I mean, what a waste of energy. I mean, people do it. I've done it, you know what I mean? But if something's changed, or, I mean, look what we've had to do. We've had to do this.
Right.
I have so many amazing things planned for this year, traveling and the beautiful places and big audiences and all that kind of stuff. And I was the same way. I mean, it dissolved so quickly. It was like one after another during those first couple of weeks. Canceled, 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 canceled. And there's a moment where it's like
pop, 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 pop.
yeah. But
Yeah.
you make the quick adjustment, you know, and you can't attach to it because what are you gonna do?
Yeah, and I mean, the example that comes up really was Unplug. I was like, oh, it's going to go online. No, I'll stop teaching. You know, of course, you like encouraged me to do it. But what was happening for me at that time was I was getting ready to go to Costa Rica and teach a retreat, and I had this feeling stuff was starting to happen. I had this feeling. I was like, I'm not coming back to LA for a while. I was like, I don't know what this is. I don't know if I'm going to get stuck in Costa Rica, or I don't know what's happening. And I just sort of last minute, I sent an email to my landlord. This was crazy. I sent an email to my landlord and said, hey, I think I need to break my lease. And then within 20 minutes of me sending that email, my landlord emailed everyone and said, if you need to break your lease to move out, you can do so without any penalty.
Wow.
I was like, whoa, okay, yeah, I'll be taking you up on that offer. Okay.
Yeah.
And I just put my stuff in a storage unit, and it was like a Thursday. I decided to put my stuff in a storage unit, and I moved out on Saturday, and on Sunday I was flying to Costa Rica.
Wow.
And then on the following Wednesday, I'm in Costa Rica for a few days, and then the resort has to close. And I was like,
all right.
I was like, okay, I don't have anywhere to go back to in LA because I had just like moved out, you know. And I will say this is part of the story that I left out. That was in March. I was going to be in Costa Rica March, April, May, and June.
Wow.
So the whole resort closed. So my whole summer plans, I was like, and I just called my dad. I was like, so here's what's happening. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And he is like, okay, well, Trump is saying that they're going to be shutting more and more stuff down. My dad's like a big Republican. And he was like watching all the briefings and everything. And I was like, yeah, so what do you think? And he was like, I think you got to come to Westchester and spend time at the house with your mom and I. And I was like, okay. It's like I haven't missed a beat. You know, it's like everything's online. So we're doing everything online anyway. And I could do it from Westchester right now. And Westchester is like.
Westchester, New York?
No, Westchester, Ohio.
Ohio, okay.
Right. Yeah, so I'm like in the countryside. It's like this big, fabulous house. It's like super relaxed. There's like trees everywhere. It's like super comfortable spring weather.
Oh,
and
man. Sounds idyllic.
It is idyllic. Yeah, it's like there's no craziness here. And I like moved from Venice Beach, which is crazy anyway, and apparently is now like 100 times more crazy, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been down to Venice. I go down there, ride my bike and stuff like that, with a mask on, of course, and everything.
Yes.
But, yeah, but it's just so strange, man. It's just so strange to see the beach empty, and you know, and just, yeah, it's pretty wild.
Okay, I have one LA question for you.
Okay.
Have you been to the beach to see the bioluminescent phytoplankton?
I haven't seen it yet, but it's happening shortly. I know it's happening. I'm gonna drive out there probably pretty soon. Maybe
Yeah,
tonight.
I recommend it. I found out about it because someone sent me a conspiracy theory email about 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 aliens and the phytoplankton and something.
It's
Okay,
real.
so
I'm just kidding.
I was like,
But
okay, I'll forward it to you.
okay.
Yeah, Arizu has seen it. You have to go. You have to go see it. Jade is asking how long I've lived in LA. I've lived in LA since I was 18 years old. So for 14 years, and I still actually technically live in LA. But I'm just sort of like quarantining at my parents' sick mansion in Westchester, Ohio.
That sounds really nice, man.
I may or may not be exaggerating, but you'll never know.
You never know. I want to see it
Yeah.
live later, the whole place. And are they cooking for you?
Yeah, they're cooking for me and they're making me fat. They're totally fattening me up. And I'm doing my, but they, you know, I have like my own kitchen and I have basically the whole guest house. So I have tons of personal space and so I set it all up like a studio to do all my classes and to film all my videos and all that kind of stuff. And I've been really writing, honestly. Like that's the thing I need to be doing. In fact, it's like any second now I'm going to go teach another class and then go write some more all night. to turn something in. Well, Donovan, I'm so happy that we were able to connect
Me
and that
too.
you could share about Amplified Yoga. So everyone, go follow Amplified Yoga and check out all of his offerings, all of his stuff he's got coming up. Got a really, really cool series of different kinds of partnerships and stuff coming up. And one of my favorite people is on here, Just Made Keto. She's going to keep me healthy with keto desserts. I'm keto right now, and I'm in desperate need of desserts. So thank you.
What a nice friend. How lucky for you.
Yeah, I've got a sweet tooth. What can I say? I've got a sweet tooth. And my brother is the vice president of Lakanto, which is a monk fruit sweetener company.
Oh, monk fruit's all the rage. It's all the rage.
I know, and they're the number one importer of monk fruit, and they also patented. Well, they actually created the monk fruit extraction process, and then instead of patenting it, they made it available to the world.
How generous.
Yeah. So it's been really
monk fruit for everybody. Monk fruit's
yeah,
for
monk fruit
everyone.
for all. Monk fruit for all. Well, thank you so much, Donovan. I'm going to get this up on video tomorrow, and I'll edit out my first few minutes of stalling. And I'm so grateful we were able to make it happen.
Me
And
too.
thank you all so much for being here. Tomorrow night, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be on with Arizu. She's my guest tomorrow night.
Oh,
So
fun.
I'm super excited to continue the conversation. And yes, Lakanto is the best. Everyone's giving Lakanto lots of love. It really is legitimately the best. So I'll have to send you some, Donovan, because you'll want to go keto. You'll want to go totally sugar free. Like there's no reason.
All right, interesting. All right, I'm down.
Yeah.
I don't have a sweet tooth like you.
Well, hey, may as well be sugar free then already. All right. Well, thank you again, and I'll keep this up live, and we'll get that video up on YouTube tomorrow. And thank you all for watching. Thanks again, Donovan. You're the best.
Thank you, Ben. Good to see you. Thanks for everybody who tuned in.
Yeah. See ya. Have a good night.
See you later.